so today's objectives, we're going to be configuring vManage as a root CA. We're going to be verifying that the enterprise root CA has been pushed. We're going to copy the root cert onto vBond and vSmart. Then we're going to install the root chain into vSmart and vBond controllers. And after that, we're going to check the root certificate on vBond and vSmart. And I'm going to show you a few of the commands we're going to be using in this lab. Here are the commands we're going to be using on vManage to get this set up. Underneath right here where I put the whatever email, this has to be your email that you have on your Cisco account, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to start off by configuring vManage to be our root CA. So we need to get into vShell. So let's get into vShell. Now into vShell. So now let's go and open SSH and generate our first command. I have all this in the notepad, so I'm going to be copying and pasting. Okay, let's just verify with ls command. So we do have our root key now. So the next command we're going to use, so just paste it in here. Hit enter. I'll type ls, and you can see now we told it to the root CA cert, and you can see now we actually have the root CA cert. Earlier you can see that we had the key from the first command. So now you need one more command. Our output is going to be a .pem file. So now let's do ls, and now you can see that we have the root CA chain cert, which is our PEM file. Now vShell, doing ls, and now what we're going to do is do a more on that root chain cert. So we're going to do CA chain, and now what we need to do is actually copy this. And we're gonna put this inside of vManage on the GUI. So I got this copy. Let me go and put this in vManage. You're gonna edit it. You're going to enterprise CA, enterprise root certificate, and this is where you can actually paste what you just got from vManage. Import and save. Okay, now you can see that it's set to enterprise. So now let's go back to vManage. Now you can actually see that that certificate is installed in vManage as well. You can see it's tied to my account here. Now we're gonna run this show command, and you can see this one is also tied to my account as well. All right, so now let's jump into the next step, which is to copy our root cert over to vBond and vSmart. So let's jump into that. So now I'm in vShell. So let's go and SCP the root chain into vBond and vSmart. Click yes. Put in the password, which is admin. Okay, so now we just copy that over to vBond. So now let's do vSmart. Type in yes. Password is admin. Okay, so we'll verify that our root chain cert is actually on our device. So now let's actually request to install it. So this is the command we're going to use. Okay, you can see it was successfully installed. So now let's do vSmart. Let's go to vShell to verify that it's there. ls command. Okay, it's there. Let's go back. Let's copy it and let's install it. Okay, now they have both been installed. Now let's verify the show command. Okay, next we're going to actually go generate our CSRs for each device and actually get vManage to actually sign it, which remember vManage is our root CA. So let's jump into that one now. All right guys, I'm back in the GUI of vManage, and I went to configurations and certificates, then controllers. I generated a CSR for vManage, and what you want to do is view it, then copy it, and then we're going to create a file in vManage CLI with the vim command, and then we're going to sign it. So let's do that now. All right, so I've copied it into my vim. So now escape DD, to take off this line. Then I'm gonna hit colon WQ to save it. So now let's do the ls command. Okay, now you can see I have vManage CSR. So now what I need to do is actually take that CSR and actually get it signed by vManage. So let's jump into that step. All right, here's the command we're going to use. It's a pretty long command, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So open SSL required in vManage CSR, and out is going to be vmanage.crt. So let's hit enter. Okay, so now let's do a more on that CSR. So let's verify that it's there first. Okay, now we actually have a vManage cert. So let's do a more on that cert. And the more command pretty much reads what's inside of it. So vmanage.crt. Okay, so now we're going to copy this. And then we're going to go back to vManage and upload it. So we have vManage selected. We hit install certificate, and we're going to paste. Hit install. It's scheduled. Success. So if we go back to certificates, controllers, you're going to see that our certificate is actually installed on vMine now, and it's in sync. So now I'm going to repeat the same steps on vSmart and vBond. All right, guys. Now that I have all of my certificates installed, before you actually leave this page, you want to send it to vBond. That way it updates. Okay, now successful. Now let's go back to the devices, certificates, controllers, and you can see we're in sync. We have our IP, system IPs, and now we can go back to let's go to our dashboard and let's see if we see all of our devices online. So now you can see you have one vManage, one vBond, one vSmart, and the control connections are up. Let's just verify our control connections, and I'm going to use the command show control connections, and now you can see I have control connection with vSmart and vBond from vManage. You can see the org name, Coles Tech, and now on the next step, I'm going to be onboarding my vEdge device onto the fabric. So stay tuned. All right, guys, now it's time for me to bring my vEdge online. So the first thing I want to do is put in my basic system information. So let's start there. So commit my changes. Let's verify that I can actually reach my root CA. So we're going to ping it. It's going to be .80. Okay, we can. So I have already copied over the root CA certificate to this device. So the next step we need to do is actually request the root chain install. So let's do that. And just so we can verify together, let me go to vShell ls. So you can see our root chain is right here. So now let's request that it gets installed. There we go. Okay, now it's installed. Now that we have the root cert installed, the next step that we need to do is actually go in into vManage and get our one-time passcode from our software device. So let's go do that, and then we can activate this vEdge. So I'm back on vManage, and what you want to do is we can come here, select this one of our devices here, and we can say generate a bootstrap config, leave it as cloud init. That's fine. And what you want to do is copy. We're going to just copy from here. What we really need is this top information right here. I'm going to copy this out, put it in my notepad, and I will show you here what I'm going to do in my notepad. So basically I copied over that cloud-config file. So right here, we're going to request that the vEdge get activated with the chassis number. So this is our chassis number right here. So we're going to copy this. We're going to put it in here. So right here, we're going to paste it. And the one-time passcode, you can see it's right here. So this is the command to activate this device. That way it can actually come online onto the SD-WAN fabric. So let's copy this, and now let's go back to that device, paste it here, and now in a few minutes this device should come online. There you go, it's coming up right now. You're gonna lose connection a few times. Let's take a look in vManage while it finished doing this thing. So if we go to vManage, we can see we have one-in-one edge. If we go to it, we can see that it's that device we configured, and it just came online. So let's go back to the device. We should be able to see all control connections as well. And there we go, it's up. Now the connection is not going to stay up with vBond. It only stays up with vBond just to authenticate, and vBond tells it where it needs to go. Then the connection is broken. So eventually you'll only see vSmart and vManage in a control connection, or vBond may be there, but it'll just have all these zeros like this. That's how you get it online, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.